What if I told you that one of the most effective ways to restore strength in your legs, especially if you've been feeling slower, weaker, or more drained, doesn't come from a workout or a supplement, but from your kitchen? In fact, new research reveals that a single food, when timed and combined properly, can begin to rejuvenate neuromuscular function in as little as 12 hours. Let's begin with a surprising revelation from a 2023 study featured in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition. When adults over 50 consumed a certain nutrient-dense food at night, measurable gains in muscle protein synthesis and mitochondrial function appeared by morning. These are the biological engines that power strength and energy recovery, especially in your legs, which are often the first to show signs of aging. This isn't just about appearance or even physical mobility. It's about something far more essential: your freedom, your confidence, your longevity. When leg strength declines, everything changes. Stairs feel steeper, balance gets shaky, energy fades, and most people blame it on aging. But here's the reality. Age alone isn't what drives muscle decline. The deeper issues are chronic cellular malnourishment, low-grade inflammation, and disrupted circadian rhythms. Put simply, it's not your age on paper, it's your biology. What you eat, when you eat it, and how it interacts with your nervous system and muscles makes a difference. In this episode, we'll uncover the neuroscience and physiology behind one simple, accessible food that can significantly improve leg function when used strategically. You'll learn the nutrient makeup that accelerates neuromuscular repair overnight, how this food revives mitochondrial performance, the energy centers of your muscles, the role of amino acid signaling in rebuilding muscle density, why your circadian rhythm determines how well this food works, how to time it for peak results, and a step-by-step protocol you can implement tonight. This isn't hype, it's evidence. And it's a reminder that with the right tools, your body can bounce back faster than you think. Let's get started. For years, we thought age muscle loss was caused mainly by atrophy, shrinking muscle fibers due to disuse or hormone decline. But new findings in neuroscience are revealing a much more hopeful and practical truth. Researchers are discovering something remarkable. Most of the muscle you assume is gone isn't truly lost, it's just disconnected. Here's what studies show. As early as your 40s, the motor neurons linking your brain and spinal cord to your muscles, especially in your legs, start to deteriorate or lose effectiveness. That disconnect reduces electrical signals, so your muscles don't get the full message to contract. They're still there, they're just idle. A groundbreaking study from the University of Calgary showed that even in adults with declining leg strength, the structural potential for muscle activation remained intact. The real issue was impaired neuromuscular signaling. Put simply, the muscle wasn't dead, it was offline, and that means it can be switched back on. Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt unsteady without knowing why? Or noticed your legs tiring more quickly than usual, even without doing more? That's not just aging, it's a breakdown in neural communication. The good news? There's a fix. The spinal cord is central here. It acts as a communication hub for movement commands and depends on constant nutrient-driven support to keep signals strong. Picture your leg muscles as skilled workers and your nervous system as a foreman, yelling instructions through a megaphone. If the megaphone's battery is low, performance drops, but recharge it and the crew gets back to work fast. One of the quickest ways to do this is by fueling the neuromuscular junction, the spot where nerves and muscles meet, with key nutrients that boost signal strength. Specific amino acids, B vitamins, and acetylcholine precursors can dramatically enhance this connection within hours. And that's where today's focus food comes in. You'll find it's not just protein-rich. It's loaded with the precise compounds your nervous system needs to restore communication. You're not just feeding muscle, you're reactivating it. Here's a practical insight. Before trying to build more muscle, ask yourself, is your nervous system even using the muscle you already have? Often leg weakness is more about poor signaling than insufficient muscle mass. We'll now take a deeper look at one of the most vital nutrients for reigniting this system. the amino acid leucine and how it works like a molecular power switch for strength. But first, if this has shifted how you view your body, consider subscribing. This channel turns science into strength, one insight at a time. The moment you eat, within seconds, your body starts scanning for signals, not just calories, but molecular cues, telling it what to do next. And one of the most powerful is leucine. Leucine is an essential amino acid, meaning your body can't make it, you have to get it from food. But its role goes well beyond nutrition. Leucine is what researchers call an anabolic trigger. It tells your body it's time to grow. Here's what the science says. Leucine activates a pathway known as mTOR, short for mammalian target of rapamycin. mTOR functions like a command tower for muscle protein synthesis. Think of it as your body's internal switch for repairing and rebuilding muscle, and leucine is the key that flips it on. In a 2011 study from the Journal of Nutrition, researchers showed that just one leucine-rich meal could significantly increase mTOR activity and stimulate muscle growth, even in older adults. That matters because as we age, our muscles become less responsive to anabolic signals. But leucine can override that resistance. In fact, it's one of the few nutrients proven to do so quickly. Ever eaten a high-protein meal and still felt weak or tired in your legs? The problem might not be how much protein you ate, but whether it contained enough leucine and whether you timed it right. Many older adults unknowingly eat just enough protein to halt muscle breakdown, but not enough leucine to drive new growth. That's why protein source and timing matter. Here's a simple tool. Build your first substantial meal of the day around a food rich in leucine. Animal proteins like eggs, beef, chicken, and especially whey are among the best sources. Just 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine, found in about 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein, is enough to trigger mTOR and kickstart repair. Want a shortcut? Whey protein isolate is one of the most efficient ways. It has the ideal ratio of leucine and other key amino acids. That's why athletes and increasingly clinicians working with older adults are using it to rapidly restore muscle function. But this isn't only about recovery, it's about reconnection. Because what's happening in your brain and muscles after eating leucine-rich protein is more than growth. It's communication. You're reawakening a biochemical dialogue between your nerves and muscle fibers, and the quicker that conversation resumes, the sooner your legs feel stable, strong, and fully alive. Now we'll look at the second critical piece of this puzzle, acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that literally signals your muscles to move, and the food that replenishes it more effectively than many supplements. If these insights are helping, consider liking the video. It tells the algorithm this content matters and helps us bring evidence-based strength strategies to more people. Every time you move, stand, step, or rise from a chair, your brain sends a signal. But that message doesn't reach your muscles directly. First, it's translated into a chemical messenger called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter responsible for neuromuscular signaling. The exact mechanism through which a brain signal is translated into movement is remarkably intricate. When this system lacks key components, your muscles fail to engage as they should, leading to misfires, delays, or complete lack of response. This process becomes even more crucial with age. Research confirms that both acetylcholine production and receptor responsiveness decrease over time, especially within motor neurons that control the leg. This helps explain why balance slips and delayed muscle reactions are increasingly common in older adults. But this is where science takes an exciting turn. Studies indicate that choline, the building block of acetylcholine, can quickly restore signaling efficiency. A 2012 article in Nutrients emphasized that elevating dietary choline can boost acetylcholine production within 6 to 12 hours, particularly when the brain is engaged in motor coordination. So what foods deliver this advantage? Eggs, specifically the yolks, are the most potent natural source of choline. Just 2 whole eggs supply over 300 milligrams of choline, which the body transforms into acetylcholine to reinstate the brain-to-muscle communication loop. And this isn't just nutritional trivia, it's a practical method. If your legs feel sluggish or you've observed tremors, instability, or loss of strength when walking or standing, consider this simple morning habit. Eat 2 whole eggs within 30 minutes of waking, ideally alongside a leucine-rich protein like whey or cottage cheese. Why? Because motor neurons are more receptive to nutrients in the morning, especially after a night when acetylcholine levels are naturally low. You're supplying your body with the essential materials it needs to restore neuromuscular coordination at its most vulnerable point. Ever noticed how your stride feels firmer after a protein-rich breakfast? That's not psychological, it's your nervous system firing with greater accuracy. Choline doesn't merely support muscle, it upgrades the brain-to-leg command pathway. For those who are plant-based or avoid eggs, don't worry. Choline is also found in soybeans, quinoa, and Brussels sprouts. However, the body absorbs and utilizes choline most effectively from egg yolks. And here's another powerful insight. Acetylcholine isn't limited to motor control. It also plays a central role in focus, memory, and learning. So when you elevate your brain's acetylcholine, you're not just enhancing movement, you're sharpening cognition. A true twofold gain for aging optimally. In the next section, we'll uncover another key factor, how blood flow affects leg strength, and a single food that enhances circulation so efficiently it's now being researched for treating vascular dementia and physical fatigue. If you're committed to restoring strength and clarity, make sure to subscribe. We're just getting started, and every segment builds on the last, giving you science-backed tools you can start using today. Imagine trying to water a garden when the hose is kinked. No matter how rich the soil or how bright the sun, nothing flourishes. That's exactly what happens inside your muscles, especially in your legs, when circulation diminishes. With age, the arteries and capillaries that nourish your lower body tend to narrow and lose elasticity. This reduction in blood flow limits oxygen delivery, nutrient absorption, and the removal of metabolic waste. 3 cornerstones of muscular strength and recovery. The result? Legs that feel sluggish, fatigued, or unresponsive. Even with proper protein intake and exercise, compromised circulation can quietly undermine your efforts. The molecule responsible for blood vessel dilation is nitric oxide. This gas is naturally produced by endothelial cells which line your blood vessels. Its job is to signal those vessels to expand and let blood flow more freely. Interestingly, nitric oxide production is heavily influenced by your diet, and one of the most effective natural sources? Beets. Especially raw or juiced, beets are rich in dietary nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide. A 2015 study in the Journal of Applied Physiology revealed that older adults who consumed beetroot juice experienced significant gains in leg muscle power within mere hours, most notably in fast-twitch fibers, which are critical for balance and fall prevention. This isn't a minor boost. The improvements were measurable across real-life activities, walking speed, chair stands, even stair climbing. Want a simple strategy? Consume 250-300 ml of beetroot juice or eat 1 to 2 medium beets about 90 minutes before activity. This timing allows the nitrates to convert into nitric oxide and start improving blood flow. To maximize the effect, combine this with 20 minutes of light movement such as walking, cycling, or dynamic stretches. Physical activity enhances nitric oxide output, particularly when fueled by dietary nitrates. Think of it as priming the hose and turning up the pressure. Concerned about sugar content in beets? The glycemic load is modest, and the performance benefits far outweigh any glucose spike, especially before exercise. To further stabilize blood sugar, pair beets with a protein or fiber-rich leafy green. If you're finding this helpful, consider subscribing. We go deep into practical, evidence-based solutions, never to overwhelm you, but to equip you. Each video is packed with actionable science designed to help you feel sharper, stronger, and more in control, starting now. In the next part, we'll tackle one of the most overlooked drivers of muscle loss, inflammation, and how a specific group of vegetables can help extinguish the low-grade chronic fire weakening your legs from within. You may not sense it, but it's there, an invisible hum in the background. This is chronic inflammation. Unlike the acute obvious kind that follows an injury, chronic inflammation is subtle, systemic, and long-lasting, and over time it erodes muscle function, especially in the legs. Here's what the research says. Even low-grade chronic inflammation can impair strength, coordination, and the body's ability to regenerate muscle tissue. A 2020 study in the Journals of Gerontology found that higher levels of inflammatory markers, particularly CR-active protein, CRP, and interleukin-6, EIL-6, were strongly linked to decreased muscle mass and strength in older adults, even if diet and exercise appeared sufficient. So, what exactly is happening? Inflammation disrupts muscle protein synthesis, increases oxidative stress, and damages mitochondrial function, the very engines that drive muscle performance. It also dulls the nervous system's capacity to engage muscle fibers efficiently. In other words, even if the muscle is physically present, the signal to activate it gets weaker. Now here's the surprising part. One of the best tools for cooling this internal fire isn't a pill, it's in your vegetable drawer. Enter dark leafy greens. Think kale, spinach, arugula, Swiss chard, and mustard greens. These are not only nutrient-dense, they're powerful anti-inflammatory agents. They're loaded with polyphenols, magnesium, chlorophyll, and nitrates, all of which help suppress inflammatory pathways. One standout is the polyphenol quercetin, abundant in kale and mustard greens, which directly blocks inflammatory cytokines like IL-6 and TNF-alpha. A 2019 study published in Frontiers in Pharmacology revealed that consistent consumption of quercetin-rich foods can lower inflammation markers within 2 to 4 weeks, particularly when paired with moderate physical activity. One evidence-based strategy involves starting your day with at least 1 heaping cup of dark leafy greens. Why the first meal? Because it sets the stage for managing inflammation in alignment with your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that regulates immune and hormonal activity. Try pairing these greens with a healthy fat like olive oil or avocado to enhance the absorption of fat-soluble antioxidants such as vitamin K and beta-carotene. A splash of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar can also support digestion and nutrient absorption. It's important to understand that these foods don't act like instant pain relievers. You won't feel a dramatic change overnight, but over time, often within just 10 to 14 days, you may observe reduced soreness, quicker recovery, steadier energy, and a renewed strength in your legs. This is where nutrition evolves beyond mere fuel. It becomes a biological signal. It tells your immune system all is well, you can stand down. In the next section, we'll explore something most people completely overlook: how the timing of your meals can either accelerate or hinder muscle recovery and leg strength, especially as you age. When it comes to rebuilding lower body strength, what you eat is only half the equation. When you eat may be equally important, particularly as you grow older. Each time you consume a meal with protein, you trigger a process called muscle protein synthesis, or MPS. This is the biological mechanism your body uses to repair and generate new muscle tissue. It's essentially your body's way of saying, let's grow. The challenge? As we age, this signal weakens due to a phenomenon called anabolic resistance, where your muscles become less responsive to dietary protein. So even if you're consuming enough protein, poor timing could prevent your body from using it effectively to rebuild muscle. So, what's the solution? Research indicates that spreading your protein intake evenly across the day, starting with breakfast, significantly enhances muscle retention and growth, particularly in the legs and lower body. A 2014 study from the University of Texas found that individuals who consumed roughly equal amounts of protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner had 25% greater rates of muscle protein synthesis than those who consumed most of their protein at dinner. Why? Because each meal provided a separate growth stimulus, keeping the muscle-building signal strong throughout the day. And there's more. Consuming food within 30 to 60 minutes after light activity or walking amplifies this effect, especially in older adults. This period, known as the anabolic window, is when muscle cells are most receptive to nutrients and can rapidly absorb amino acids to repair tissue. Here's a practical and science-based protocol. Step 1. Aim for 30 grams of high-quality protein in your first meal of the day. That could be 3 eggs with sautéed spinach and lentils, or a Greek yogurt bowl topped with hemp seeds and berries. Step 2. After any form of physical movement, be it walking, stretching, or light resistance training, consume a meal or snack that combines protein and complex carbohydrates within an hour. This could be a smoothie made with protein powder and banana, or a plate of quinoa, beans, and olive oil. The carbohydrates help shuttle amino acids into your muscles more efficiently by triggering insulin, a hormone that enhances nutrient uptake. Step 3. Avoid overloading on protein at dinner. Though it's tempting to save your largest meal for the evening, research shows your muscles can only process a finite amount of protein at once, typically 30 to 40 grams. Beyond that, the excess is oxidized or stored. By optimizing when and how you consume protein, you're not just nourishing your muscles, you're speaking to them. You're telling your body, stay strong, stay active, stay alive. And that's the central message here. Muscle isn't just for movement. It functions as a metabolic organ vital to your overall health. In our final section, we'll bring everything together, from the vital role of nitric oxide to the strategic timing of nutrients, and offer a clear, empowering action step you can take today to transform your leg strength, your energy, and your total well-being. If you've made it this far, you've already taken the most important step, becoming informed. You now understand that restoring leg strength, even within 12 hours, isn't wishful thinking. It's a physiological reality when you work with your body's innate systems rather than against them. Let's quickly review the 6 science-backed principles we've discussed. Nitric oxide is the molecule that drives blood flow to your legs, ensuring oxygen, nutrients, and energy reach the areas that need them most. Without it, muscles deteriorate. Beetroot, especially in concentrated powder form, is among the most potent natural nitric oxide boosters, capable of producing measurable improvements in leg circulation and performance within hours. Your endothelium, the inner lining of your blood vessels, plays a critical role in delivering oxygen to your muscles. Foods high in nitrates, polyphenols, and antioxidants can actively revitalize this system. Type 2 muscle fibers, particularly in your legs, are prone to age decline, but they also respond exceptionally well to improvements in circulation, nutrition, and neural stimulation. The gut-muscle connection reveals that your diet does more than influence digestion, it programs the communication between your brain and muscles. Beetroot's effect on gut microbiota is central to this process. And finally, nutrient timing, especially surrounding movement, can counter anabolic resistance and keep your muscle-building processes fully active. The key insight is this: your body is primed to regenerate. It's designed to adapt. The challenge is supplying it with the right signals in the right amounts at the right moments. So, here's your next step: simple, powerful, and doable. Tomorrow morning, begin your day with a beetroot-based smoothie. Add a quality protein source like Greek yogurt or a plant-based alternative, and follow it with a 15-minute walk. This primes your blood vessels, boosts nitric oxide, and activates muscle signaling. Then, within 30 to 60 minutes, enjoy a protein-rich breakfast. This is about more than building leg strength. It's about building momentum. The science is clear. Small, well-timed changes, a nutrient, a brief walk, a strategic meal, can yield fast, tangible results in your performance and well-being, especially in your legs, which are not just your foundation for movement, but a direct reflection of your metabolic health and vitality. And as you integrate these practices daily, something subtle yet profound begins to happen. Your legs feel not just stronger, but you feel empowered again, more energized, more grounded, more you. So try this one protocol, see what changes. And if this video helped you see your body and its potential differently, I'd love for you to like, comment, and subscribe. This community exists to support not just your survival, but your thriving, with tools grounded in science that nourish your mind, body, and life. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next.